Hello, hello, crafty peeps. Welcome back to my channel, Crafty-ish Kristyn. Today it is time for a whip and chatty rant. What is a whip and chatty rant? You may be asking yourself. I know Duncan is asking right now. WIP, W-I-P, stands for work in progress, and a chatty rant is me chatting and ranting about the goings-on over the past week or so. And it has been a week, let me tell ya. So, what are we working on today? We are working on Luann. This is from Diamond Art Studio UK. Please stop sniffing that plastic bag. Thank you, Duncan. And Duncan is obviously modeling how amazing the painting is looking. This is what it will look like when finished. I am going to be working right here, and so we're almost to the cute little bunny face, and I am here for it. I am here for it. If you are interested in a kit from Diamond Art Studio UK, you can use my code Crafty-ish10. Link is in the description box as well, and save 10% off of your order. I did just get in 2 kits from them. There's a cat kit and one of their chart to arts. Haven't even opened them yet because, like I said, it's been like 2 weeks, honestly. But this past week, yeah, it's weeking. Let's put it that way. What else are we working with? I have my release papers from Bee's Crafty Corner, except for this cute one. This one is from Rokari. The best place to get information about Rokari, when the website is open, all that stuff is either from their Facebook group or their website. And this is a cute little cover minder that I got as a gift. I am using Reid's Putty in my pen. And I am using my ZAP Designs pen. The ZAP Designs is on Facebook, and everything will be listed, below like it always is. I am using my little nail saving apparatus. This is still a, what do you call it? Prototype test thing from Ephemera 3D. Also a prototype is this amazing tray. I love this tray so much. And yeah, this is also Ephemera 3D. I have a pen from Jim's Handmade Pens, and they are on Etsy, and this has Joy's Putty in it. I will use this if I have any ABs. I don't know if I do or not, so I have it just in case. What else I have? I have Dr. Pepper. I have my drills over here, all 91 colors, or 90, not 91. Here I am out here spreading fake news. I'm sorry, 90 colors, not 91. I misspoke. So let me get zoomed in and we will get started. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, my first color is going to be this symbol. I call this the boob for obvious reasons. Yep. Because I have the sense of humor of a, teenage boy. Yep. I do, and I don't even care. I will admit it. Before I forget, I hope everybody is doing awesome, well, and amazing. Yes. And if you are not any of those things, I hope that things turn around for you soon, because you are awesome. Some days we may not feel awesome, but we are indeed awesome all the time. And now the cat's gonna meow. Oh, it's going to be one of those videos. Editing Kristyn's going to have so much fun today. All right, I do notice I overfilled my pen. See, it's a little overfull. So I am going to pull inch. I'm going to pull inch some of that off there, so I don't get it all over my canvas. So what have I worked on this week? I did a row of the Life is Sweet, and that was from the Ever After Diamonds canvas. It's looking good. The row I did, it went so fast. I was flying through it. Very, very good. Like when you're working on some confetti heavy things, sometimes it's nice to have a nice little, easy win. That was definitely an easy win. I very much appreciated that canvas. And what else? I did 3 of the, oh, I don't have a trash container. Put that there. I did 3 of the Pretty Little Gem hot air balloons. And I will say the quality is looking good and good. Good and good. I'm wording today. And I finished Lovable Larry. I did. He turned out okay. There were some things in the background, like some confetti that I didn't really feel like needed to be there. Again, just my personal opinion. Take it if you want it or not. But I do think that the detail in the face and, because that's really what matters in a painting, in my opinion, is that the focal point comes out good. And I will say, even though he is absolutely horrifying to look at, I think if that is your style of painting, then you could be very pleased with him. Let's see, where to start? I guess the obvious place would be that I finally saw the Minecraft movie. And honestly, and I'm just going to apologize now if you thought the movie was good and amazing and a cinematic masterpiece, or you thought it was funny. I do not share any of those opinions. No. And I am partially, probably completely biased because I'm a huge Jason Momoa fan, mainly not necessarily his acting skills. He's just easy to look at, in my opinion. And looking at him in that movie made me want to cry. I wanted to cry my eyes out because they did him so dirty in that movie. That horrible, horrible, horrible pink leather coat with the fringe. Could they have lost it as they're going on their adventure and he could have just been walking around in his tank top showing off his muscles? Really? No one thought, let's throw people a bone and not make him look like somebody's aunt from the 90s? No. And okay, fine. He's looking a little girlish and okay, whatever. But I don't like, and I don't know if this is just a trend in movies, okay? But I don't like how they basically completely emasculated him at he was not manly. There was no manly thing about him at all. I lost track of how many times he shrieked and ran away with his hands up like a stereotypical, scared girl would. Just, I don't know. That, and again, I'm biased. So take that if you want it or not. I just did not, I don't know. I feel like it was just, I don't know how to explain it. I felt very angry and sad and annoyed and embarrassed the entire time I was watching that movie. And it wasn't just the fact that, I feel like they ruined Jason Momoa. Honestly, it was the whole movie. I did not like it. I felt awkward. I don't even think I laughed out loud one time. And I was trying to go into it with an open mind, I had really low expectations, hoping that I would be proved wrong. And I was not proved wrong. And I don't know if it was just, again, the Momoa fandom, making me feel a little salty. I did not like Jack Black in that movie. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan by any means, but my husband said, this is what my husband said, and I can see where he's coming from. He said, Jack Black only plays one character. He plays Jack Black. So every movie that he is in, he is playing Jack Black. And, then I'm going, no, he has range. then I was thinking, and I'm going, okay, yeah, I see that. I very much see that. He has one character. It's the overacting, over pronunciating, almost kind of thinking that you're like really, really hilarious, and you know, I don't know. Oh, it was not my thing. I felt awkward. I felt like I needed to go take a shower to rinse off the embarrassment from that movie. No, nope. They needed more animal co-stars in that movie, to give me something to look at. Because, obviously I wasn't staring at Jason Momoa. But just the overacting, the stereotypical, like, the men are weak and the women are the strong ones who save the day. I don't know. I guess I'm just getting tired of that whole way of movie making, like, why can't we all just be tough? Like, why does it have to be picking sides where, either the girls are weak and helpless or the guys are weak? I don't know. It was a giant no thank you for me, and I am so grateful that it was on HBO Max, and I did not spend money on it, because if I spent money on that movie, I would have been not happy. I would have been asking for a refund. I don't know how it made so much money. I really don't. So, I would love to know. Have you seen the Minecraft movie? And am I being too harsh just because of my appreciation for Mr. Momoa? Let me know. We're all allowed to have our own opinions, obviously. So my husband finally got his new license plates, right? Because I felt like it took a really, really, really long time. So he got a little notice in the mail, went to the car dealership, and there was an issue with the paperwork, but he got his license plates. They said, we'll mail you the registration. Okay, great. Well. We got the registration in the mail, and it was addressed to our address, and all of the car information was correct, which is good, right? But it was registered to a different person. And I'm not just talking like maybe the same first name, the same last name. No, it was registered to some lady. I don't want to say the name just because, privacy and all of that. But like some lady who had, like a first name and then like a really like 3 hyphenated last name situation. And we were like, what? Whoa. We were supposed to be going and doing something with the children. But he was, a little concerned about that. So he called the dealership, and the person he talked to originally, I don't know if they're just, there's somebody who answers the phone. Maybe they don't know how to deal with an angry man, whose car is not in his name. And so the person he talked to, and it was the weekend, so the regular people probably aren't there. And the person was like, well, can you send a picture of it to us so we can see it? And he said, no, I'm not really comfortable doing that. And they said, well, we need to see it. And his response was, this is a legal document. I'm not comfortable taking a picture of it with all of my car information and texting you a photo of it. No, thank you. So he was getting a little pissed off. We were, kids and I were getting our shoes on. I was like, let's just go sit over there. Daddy's going to be not happy. So he did call back the next day, which was a Monday, and talked to somebody who kind of could talk to him. And they said, we'll figure it out. We don't know what happened. But it had to have been the Department of Licensing's issue, because they looked up the name of the person, and that person is not in the Subaru dealership system at all. So they're like, we have no idea how this happened, but it was not on our end. And he's like, I don't really care. I just, I just spent 40 grand something on a brand new car with you guys, and I'm really not liking the factor that this is happening. This is not making me want to come back and buy another car from you anytime in the near future. So I don't know if that maybe scared them, thinking they might lose a customer. But somebody competent, he did talk to the next day, and we got a brand new registration sent to us urgent through UPS. So crisis averted, and he's like, I can't even drive my car. And I said, well, yeah, you could. And he was more worried, but what if something happens? And, we're in an accident or something, and it says that technically my car is not legally registered to me. He said, what if an officer is in a bad mood? Or what if? And I was like, well, then don't drive the car. I don't know. I feel like if you could explain the situation or prove that you do in fact have, the registration, just the car dealership messed up. But, he was already in a mood. So pretty much nothing I said was going to smooth over that, which I understand. It is frustrating. So where we were going, before he had gotten the mail and found the registration issue, we were going to go bowling. I purchased from one of the bowling alleys kind of near us. They have a summer pass where you can do 2 games of bowling every day during the summertime for, one set price. And basically, the price was about the same as if you were going to go, maybe 2 times. And so I was like, well, that makes perfect sense. It'd be something easy to do, kill some time. So we were going to go do that as a family because I had to go pick them up and all that. And when we've gone before bowling on a Sunday at noon-ish, there's nobody there. Well, imagine my surprise when we get into the car and we pull up and the parking lot is full. Full. Like, not just like a few cars. No. I'm talking no parking. I said, ew, no. Because they were supposed to open at noon. And because of the phone call situation, it was maybe 12:15, which I feel like is still pretty on time. And the parking lot was jam-packed. And he goes, oh, this isn't going to be good. And I said, yeah, maybe not. No, it was apparently I don't know if it was a tournament or a league or a competition. I don't really know. All I know is that there were a bunch of men wearing tight-ish kind of spandexy shirts, for their various leagues and everything. And when we walked in, it was very, very, very peoply. So peoply. Oh my gosh. And there were, like when you see, I don't know, I haven't watched a lot of bowling competitions, but I've seen movies where there's bowling in it and they have those rags where they're like, and they're, I don't know, shining the bowling ball up. I don't really know what the purpose is. Maybe it's to clean it, give it some spin. I don't know. But there were people doing that all over. And, I'm trying not to laugh because a bunch of people, cleaning their balls, basically. Yeah, we did not get to bowl. The guy behind the counter was like, yeah, we have a competition going on. Where is that stupid symbol? Here it is. And we don't have any lanes, and we might not have any lanes for another hour or so. We did not wait. We just collected our little passes, so now they are activated. And tried to find something else to do. So that was kind of, when you're expecting something and it doesn't, I was completely thrown off. because I like to know what I'm doing and I have it all scheduled. So that was not the best. And what made it more frustrating, and I should have called. I potentially should have called and just been like, hey, are you busy? Do you have any lanes open? But again, they had originally told us that, yeah, Sundays and, certain times of the day are dead. I just figured we were safe. Apparently not. So if I would have known, I wouldn't have had to wake the children up early. Well, not early. I shouldn't say early, but, everybody wants to stay up until the crack of midnight during the summer, except for me. And everybody wanted to stay up until, 11 or whatever. And everybody promised me, I promise, I'll get up. I won't complain. I'll get ready. I won't complain. That is a lie. Liar, liar, pants on fire. And then the pants go out and then you set them on fire again. No, there was no complaining, no just eating what's in front of you. There was none of that. It was complain, whine, moan, groan, all of those things. So if I would have known bowling was not possible, I would have let people sleep in and not had to deal with their Krabby Patty butts. Yeah. So that was kind of like setback number 2 or 3 of the day. I'm like, no, come on. I had planned it out. I'm like, oh, look at us. We're going to go out. We're going to do something as a family. We're going to have fun. And yeah, did not work out that way. We did go the next day. And I did not call the bowling alley like I thought I was going to, which I'm sitting there driving going, am I going to regret this? But we all breathed a huge sigh of relief and shouts of joy erupted in the car when we came around the corner and the parking lot was completely empty. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Crisis averted, at least in terms of them having space to bowl. But if you have children, or even if you're around adults who aren't good losers, any kind of competition thing turns ugly really, really quickly. What started off as lighthearted fun quickly turned into competition. Shocking, right? Which, there's healthy competition, and then there's toxic competition. And I don't really like competition in general. Like, I don't care if I win, I don't care if I lose. My children are horrible losers when it comes to playing games or being on a team. They don't like to lose. And they do not get that from me or even their dad, really. It's just like, I was like, we're going to have fun today. Yes. Both agreed. Yes, we're going to have fun. We're not going to get upset if we don't get a strike or we don't XYZ. Yes. If somebody else is winning, we're not going to pout. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Yes. Like, okay, great. Here we go. No. Nope. I think it was maybe the second bowl of the trip where people started to get pissy and whiny. I'm like, oh geez, can we just go do one thing as a family and not have somebody get, mad and frustrated and annoyed at everybody, And here I'm trying. I'm positive voice, like, okay, everybody, we're gonna have so much fun. But inside my brain's going, oh my gosh, stop complaining. Why are you doing that? Trying to project the image and the attitude that I want everybody to have. So even though I did say we weren't going to get food because the food is expensive, they had a deal where it said it was like a a pizza and a pitcher of soda for $23. And I thought, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to be nice. Even though I said we weren't getting food, we can do that. Because the kids were like, yeah, we want that. So I was trying to be the cool mom. I should just know better than to try to do that. And first argument, it was either cheese or pepperoni. Well, teenager wanted pepperoni. Sassy Lassie wanted cheese. Neither wanted to budge. Said, well, we got to pick one. And I'm not asking the people to do half and half because, number one, I kind of figured it was probably already assembled. It's not like they're making the pizzas fresh. The pizzas are probably, you know, frozen or refrigerated. They're already made. So, no. So then I said, okay, well, what kind of soda? So dumb. So dumb. What kind of soda do we want? Oh, well, they don't want to agree on that either. And I said, well, one of you gets to pick soda. One of you gets to pick pizza. You know, so basically everybody's pissed off, right? So ended up going with root beer and cheese. Okay, great. Which, you know, I was like, I'm not drinking root beer. I'm not touching that soda. And it's a good thing I didn't because the soda is not refillable, which I did not realize. So they sucked down the pitcher of soda. And I was like, oh, I went up to the manager because we were almost the only ones there for a good 30 minutes. And I said, can I get a refill? And he's like, there's no refills on that. And I was like, ew. He goes, I'll get you some more. And I said, thank you. I don't know if I just looked really, really haggard and like I needed a win. Maybe he just felt bad for me. I don't know. But he did refill the soda. And I did tell them, that is it. There is no more. So split it between you two. And the pizza was, I mean, it was a 12-inch pizza. You know, and if you don't have a ruler in front of you, it sounds big. It was not that big. And it was not amazing, you know, which I don't expect bowling alley food to be amazing, but it was definitely not something I would do again. Yeah, so Sassy Lassie was doing better. Yay. So she stopped being upset about, you know, being the worst bowler in the history of bowling. But then the teenager started to not do good. So then he started getting angry. I'm like, dude, we're trying to have fun. Just have fun. You know, and they're like, why can't we get a strike? Why can't we do this? I was like, I have no idea. It's like, just have fun. You know, like they're trying to, I don't know, do pro bowler moves. And I'm just like, no. So then I took it upon myself because I was like, look at me. I'm having fun. So I'm like taking it and I'm turning around and around in a circle and, you know, like trying to throw it with my opposite hand or whatever. And then, of course, I get a strike as I'm messing around. They're like, see, look, you're better than us because you got a strike. And I'm like, I'm just trying to have fun. Like, literally just trying to have fun. If I had earplugs or my AirPods, I would put those in so I didn't have to listen to you guys so I could have fun. Oh my gosh. Everybody did okay. And nobody ended up in tears. Nobody punched a hole through the wall, right? So I guess I will take it as a successful outing, right? Yay. And then after the bowling, we came back to the house and we picked my mom up and we went for Mexican food. You know, like, oh no, that wasn't after bowling. That was a different day. I see all the days are going together. That was after the failed bowling attempt. That's right. So that day we decided to go out for Mexican food. Yay. You know, most people like Mexican food until they don't, right? I never know when something's gonna not be a desirable food. But I swear, does anyone else's kids do this, or is it just mine? I feel like, and teenager doesn't do it anymore because I don't know, I've nagged him enough times. he used to try to leave his AirPods in the car. And I'm like, don't leave anything of value in the car. Why? Because people like to break into cars because they don't want to get jobs or they're lazy. I don't know. But if somebody breaks into the car and they see them, they will steal them. Well, then their thing is, well, I'll just put it under the seat. Like, again, if somebody breaks into the car, they are going to look under the seats because that is where people hide their valuables, right? I mean, hello. When I was a teenager all those years ago, I had one of those, CD player things, and you took the face off of the CD player, so if somebody broke in and, I don't know, tried to steal it, they wouldn't be able to play it. Well, guess where I put it 90% of the time? Under the driver's seat. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure thieves will look under seats. So he's finally learned. I'm always like, just give me the things. I will put them in my purse. Sassy Lassie, nope. She's stubborn. She is very, 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 very stubborn. And so we go into the Mexican restaurant and, she's sitting there and I said, where's your phone? Because she didn't have anything with pockets. And she said, well, I left it in the car. And just like, oh my God. So then we had another talk, like the gajillionth time. We've had this conversation of, please don't leave valuables in the car. Why? Why? I mean, it's like, why are you asking why? Why are we asking why? It's the same reason I give you every time. It's because people like to break into cars. What if somebody, stole my car? Or you just don't know. And she's like, well, we would see somebody if they broke into our car from the restaurant. And I said, are you going to run out there and stop them? We might not see them. It just, why have the temptation? I said, well, if my car gets broken into and your cell phone gets stolen, I am not going to pay to replace it. Why? Because that was not my bad. There's a difference between an accident and something that could have been preventable. Sometimes we drop our cell phones on the ground. That is an accident. Sometimes we're not paying attention where we're going and we drop our cell phones and, the screen cracks or it breaks. That could have been potentially preventable. Okay? There are differences. I said, I am not going to pay for you not doing the thing that I constantly ask you not to do. So I got a big old, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just common sense. I definitely feel like I am playing Tetris, but with schedules right now. It's trying to, flip things around and maneuver them and get this scheduled at this time and reschedule this and do this and do this and do this and whew, I'm exhausted. Like my husband and I, we were sitting there and I was trying to explain to him, okay, I have to do this week, but I also have this and I also have this. And he's like, okay, well, what about this? And I'm like, no, that doesn't work because of this and because of this. And he's like, I don't understand. I'm like, I know you don't understand because you're not in charge of the schedule. And then, I maybe it's just me and the people in my life, but how somebody will say, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Whatever works for you, or I'm down with anything. I'm flexible. Yeah. But then when it actually comes time to schedule something or to work out, timing or meeting up at a time or whatever it is, then that is the least flexible person ever. Definitely feel like I am dealing with that 90% of the time. It's, oh yeah, whatever works for you. Oh no, yeah, totally fine. And then it's like, oh no, I've got a dog wedding to go to, or oh yeah, I gotta check my non-existent hearing aid batteries, and the only place I can do it is 4 hours away on that one specific day. Yeah, it's a little extreme, but that is literally what my brain hears when somebody starts making excuses as to why they can't do the thing they originally said they could do. I'm like, whatever. This is why I don't like to depend on people. This is the exact reason why, because it ends up being more inconvenient for me. One of the things I had to get scheduled this week was Sassy Lassie was due for a haircut, and we've been kind of putting it off, you know, just waiting until the end of, you know, school and everything, just for the reasons of not trying to shove too many things into a short amount of time. But turns out I ended up doing that to myself anyways, because that's just, I don't know, that's just my luck. So finally, I got her a haircut at the local kids place, right? Yay. So excited. You know, she's like, all right, I want to get it cut to this part. Okay. You know, because she has these little mini hairs, which I still am a little sus that she didn't cut them, or somebody didn't cut them, but okay, whatever. But there's these really, really, really short bang area right, you know, in the middle of her forehead. And I said, are you going to try to get some bangs cut to blend that in? She wasn't sure. I said, okay, well, we'll play it by ear, right? Whatever works. So we go in. She's, you know, really getting along with the haircut lady. Lady's nice. She's cutting. She tells her, you know, I wanted about to touch my shoulders. Okay. So she's cutting. It all looks legit to me, you know. I mean, I've watched lots of haircuts in my years, and I've watched lots of videos of people, you know, cutting hair on the internet. So nothing looks suspicious. You know, she wasn't using fabric scissors or anything. And I thought Sassy Lassie liked it, right? You know, I'm like, okay, great. And we get in the car, and we were going to go to Fred Meyer afterwards. And she gets really upset, and she's like, I can't go, I'm ugly. I was like, what? Apparently, because the lady put in some layers, because her hair is so thick, that there were some shorter pieces than she was expecting. And so she said that it was too short, even though it was lower than her shoulders. You know, but when a kid's upset, you know, there's no talking them off the ledge. There's no common sense. It's just, you know, sadness, which I totally understand. I've had my fair share of haircut freakouts, but she would not even. We were right by Fred Meyer, and she would not get out of the car. I was like, come on, let's just go in. Nope. Like, oh geez, you know, because you can't glue it back on. She's like, we need to go back, and she needs to fix it. And I said, there's no way to fix it. There's no way to make the pieces that you feel like are too short longer, you know? We don't have that kind of technology here. I'm sorry. So we're driving. There's a lot of traffic, and, you know, she's upset, and, you know, like, okay, you got to calm down a little bit. I got to be able to pay attention to the road, because there were all these fire trucks going past us. Well, there was an accident on the side of the road, and it was like 3 cars, and one car was the Oreo cream filling in the accident sandwich. That poor car. Whew. There's no coming back from that, that's for sure. But she did calm down. I said, why don't you send a picture to your friends, you know? Say, like, hey, got my hair cut, you know? I'm sure they're all going to say it looks super cute, you know? Oh my gosh, wow. She's like, no, I can't, because there's no hair in front of my face anymore. There was hair, but okay. But she apparently did take a selfie. And her friends were all, you know, oh my gosh, I love it. So, crisis averted. But by then we had already gotten home. And then she's like, well, can we go to Fred Meyer? I'm like, oh, seriously? We just pulled into the driveway. Like, I need a few minutes. Okay. Let me get a little snacky snack, recharge my mental and physical batteries, and then yes, we can go to Fred Meyer. So, and you know, like husband and teenager and, you know, grandma were on the assignment of, you know, wow, it looks so good. It looks so good, you know, because it was like, please. I mean, and it did. It looked so cute. I'm so jealous. She has the thickest hair. She does not even understand like how lucky she is. You know, I know when you have thicker hair, you're like, I wish my hair was thinner, and you know, we all want hair that we don't have. Totally understand that. I always, you know, she'll like be complaining about her hair, and I'm like, okay, grab your hair like you'd be putting it in a ponytail, okay, and then grab onto my hair when it's in a ponytail. And she's always so shocked that my hair is not as thick as hers, and I'm like, yeah, no, your hair is. People pay good money to try to get their hair a fraction of the, you know, luxuriousness that your hair is. I mean, oh my God. Oh, that's right. I should not be allowed to order things at night, but I ordered what is it? They call them the like halo hair extensions. You know, the hair extension that's like on the little like thing of fishing line that you're supposed to wear. Facebook ads, man, I'm telling you, they are so evil. They are so evil. I get sucked in. I get sucked in. And so I ordered one, and I tried to do the color match as best as possible. And when I was looking at the instructions, it was saying, you know, the different lengths and, you know, where a different length would hit on the back. And so I was trying to go with the length of my own hair. And it looked like 16-inch would be good. And I was like, okay, great. So they came in. Oh my gosh. They are so long. So long. And it came with a straight one and a kind of like wavy, curlier one. They were a little dark for my blonde, my shade of blonde. It was so funny. Oh man, I was like, there is so much extension hair on my head right now. I'm like, it's comical. Because it did not look natural at all. Well, I mean, maybe to somebody else it might, but you know, I know what my hair thickness is, and it's definitely not that. So we all had a good laugh. Everybody in the family tried them on, obviously. But I did email the company because I was like, yeah, that is not the right color for me. You know, I can return them, you know, pay for shipping. And they actually, because it said on the website, if you screw up the color, which I did, then you have to, you know, pay to ship it back. Totally understand. Well, they were like, no, you can keep them and we'll send you, you know, a new one in the right shade. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And I did get the shorter ones because the 16-inch was just, it was like way below my chesticles, and I was like, yeah, that does not look natural at all. But I was surprised at how thick the line of hair was. I was not expecting there to be that much hair on the extension thingamabob at all. I think maybe even it needs to be thinned a little, because I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to put that in a ponytail or have it make my hair look, you know, thicker but natural. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was having a pipe dream thinking that I was an influencer that was going to have, you know, long, thick, luxurious hair, when really, you know, stay-at-home mom who doesn't go many places, that probably should just throw her hair up in a messy ponytail like she always does, and not dream of thick, luxurious locks. Yeah. We did go to Fred Meyer. Yes, we did. Holy moly. And I don't know, maybe I've just been shopping online for clothes for my kids for too long. But number one, Fred Meyer. And if you don't have a Fred Meyer, I don't know what to compare it to, but it's basically, it's kind of like a Walmart Supercenter where have a little bit of everything. They have clothes and shoes and, you know, all the clothing type things. Then they have, you know, home and garden. They have electronics, you know, a whole grocery section. I mean, you could literally buy almost anything you would need there. Well, the clothing section for the kids, I feel like, has always not been the best. It's not laid out very user-friendly. You have the baby stuff right next to the girls, you know, like 10-year-old girl clothes. It's all mixed together. The boys and the girls stuff is kind of intertwined. And then it's kind of separated by brand and not necessarily by, you know, dressy, casual. It's a mess. And we went to the girls section, and we did bring Grandma with us. So had that extra bout of fun. But the clothes were they were so, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like they were trying to be dressy, but they were so cheaply made, but not cheaply priced. And the amount of just, you know, t-shirts, right? Just t-shirts, regular t-shirts, not t-shirts that have tiny little sleeves and that are all puckered and, you know, suction cupped to a 10-year-old's body was alarming. It was alarming how few non-tight clothing items there were in the girls section. Yeah. And, you know, she's like, well, the girls all wear these shirts at school. And I said, I really don't care. I'm sorry. You know, I'm going to be that mom. I'm going to be the mean one where, you know, and it's hard because, like, I don't want to put that in my daughter's head of, I don't want people over looking at you in an inappropriate way. Number one, you know, but I was like, I don't think it's appropriate for 10-year-olds to be wearing crop tops, you know, and the schools, they're not even allowed to have freaking dress codes anymore because parents go, well, you're discriminating against girls and you're saying that their bra straps can't show and they can't wear tight shirts. And it's like, well, I feel like there needs to be some rules. Okay. Just me. Maybe I'm a prude. I don't know, but I don't think that girls should be wearing shirts where if they raise their arm up to ask a question that it's going to creep up and their belly button is going to be exposed. Just me. I don't know. I'm old school though. We had rules. Apparently a lot of schools don't have rules anymore. So I was mean, and, you know, I was like, you're not going to want to wear that, number one. I'm like, I see what you wear. You like to be comfortable. That does not look comfortable, you know, but no, I will. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, put it on over your t-shirt. Raise your arms up and see how high it goes. She's like, I don't want to do that. We're in the middle of the store. I was like, you're not getting naked. You're just putting the shirt on over your shirt. I'm like, if you're not even comfortable to do that, how are you going to be comfortable to wear it out in public? So she did try on one of the shirts and she's like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm like, you are a comfort girl. You know, that's not to say that you can't dress up cute, but there's certain things that, you know, me and your dad are not going to let you wear to school or in public at all. Sorry. It's like, you can argue all you want, but certain things, you know, we're not going to budge on. But yeah, the lack of quality and appropriate, in my opinion, clothes was non-existent. So we were kind of feeling defeated, as one does. She did find a pair of cargo pants, actually. They were Levi brand, but they were the size that she is, but they were a little bit high watery. And I said, if you get any taller, which she's, oh my gosh, she's so freaking tall. I'm like, you're going to be taller than me in like 2 days, I swear. You know, I was like, So I did look on Amazon and they had the pants, but they had them with a drawstring waist instead of a button waist. And they're a little bit stretchy, and they had them in the next size up, and they were $20 cheaper. And I was like, well, I know that I'm just gonna buy these from Amazon now. And she's like, well, and I said, yeah, but you could get 2 pairs for the price of one here. And she's like, oh, okay, you know, so yay, that was good. That was good. You know, we were defeated. We're walking through the store, and I said, well, let's walk through the junior section and the lady section, right? The junior section, their clothes were even more poorly made than the little girl clothes, which I didn't think that was even humanly possible. But we're walking through the women's section, and they have, just some like plain colored t-shirts, just t-shirts. And she's like, oh, I like this color. And the extra, I think it was the extra small or the extra small, was like holding it up to her. And I'm like, that actually might fit you. And so we got like a whole freaking stack of t-shirts that aren't skin tight, that aren't low cut, and that actually look like they'll be comfortable and won't fall apart, after the first wash. So yay. But I don't think I'll be going back to Fred Meyer for clothes. No, that was very disappointing. And it stinks that we don't feel like we can get quality clothes in store anymore. That's how you shopped, was you had to go to the stores and you found stuff. And it's so much easier to go online. I mean, we walked around that entire store looking for, shirts, and it's just exhausting and you're just frustrated. I could have went online and browsed and probably found something within, 5 minutes. And I wouldn't have had to be around people and weird smells and, that kind of stuff. So Fred Meyer was kind of a hit and a miss. Overall, we were victorious, slightly. And I had a Dr. Pepper shirt on, and the lady checking us out asked me if I had tried the dirty soda, the Dr. Pepper, mix. And I said, no, because I've never been able to find it. And she goes, oh, we have it here. And I said, what? And Sassy Lassie was like, what? She didn't know what it was, but she likes to try new beverages. And she's like, yeah, no, it's, in between those two aisles. And so Sassy Lassie, ran and to go grab a bottle of the coconut lime. And I said, supermarket sweep it, because we're checking out. And so one of the other bagger girls actually went to go help find it, because she was gone a little too long. She was close, but I don't think she really realized what the bottle looked like, because she'd never seen it before. And we haven't tried it yet, because the kids went over to my mother-in-law's house, so we have not tried it yet. But I'm excited, because I've never tried the dirty soda Dr. Pepper drinks. Hopefully it's good, because that's a big old bottle of coconut lime flavoring. But then the next day, one of the other things I had to schedule was we got pedicures, and this was kind of a leftover Mother's Day / birthday thing that we just never did, because things. So we went and got pedicures done, and I was pleasantly surprised. It went very smoothly. Usually, I don't know what it is, but usually when we go, and we don't go often, like maybe once or twice a year during the summer, something always goes wrong with Sassy Lassie's toes. I don't know. Like they'll wait to do her last, or something always malfunctions. So imagine my shock when they were quick and prompt, and they my mom's toes, the guy that was working on her toes, he kind of had to stop because the phone kept ringing and he had to keep answering it, and people kept wanting to talk to him. And so the person that was finishing my toes ended up just kind of scooting over and doing my mom's. But other than that, like no issues, no problems, no nothing. I was like, oh my gosh, no complaining. it was a Christmas miracle. I was like, okay. And we hadn't really talked about it, but usually when we go and do that, then we also go for sushi afterwards. And so I didn't say anything about sushi just because if it was a hot mess, I was not going to suggest that we go out to lunch, just, you know, for my own mental sanity. So I was like, well, yeah, we should probably go. And so, you know, Sassy Lassie is like, yes, let's go to sushi. Because girlfriend can eat some sushi, let me tell you. And, you know, my mom's like, oh, yeah, yeah. And so we went to the sushi place, and that was actually fairly quick as well. It was like, I was like, oh my gosh, my ship has come in. Everything is coming up Millhouse, you know, woof. You know, no issues, no problems, no nothing. Is this what it's like to have good luck? I don't know. I after a few days that we had, I was taking it. I was soaking in the non-stressful experiences. I was like, yes, 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 yes. So, anyways, did that, and then came home. Mother-in-law picked up the children for a week. Not week. A 2-night stay. So yeah, ended on a good note before going somewhere. So, I mean, she's got fresh hair. She's got fresh toenails. The lady who was doing her toes even gave her a little extra something on her feet. She did a little flower pattern on the big toe, which I was like, oh, cool. And she's like, well, you know, I got a little worried because she goes, well, she didn't even ask me if I wanted that. And I said, oh, but that's okay, right? You know, I feel like I'm navigating a landmine. She's like, yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm like, okay, good. Whew. It's like my heart can't take any more upsets, you know? Just, oh my gosh. I swear, it's so interesting how kids can have such completely different personalities. I'm always shocked at how different people can be, you know? I don't know why, but I am. Ow. So, alrighty, I am going to stop here. Let me get zoomed out so we can get to see. Oh my gosh. Okay, I didn't even realize that was the bunny's face. How did I not realize that was the bunny's face? I was so focused in on this section over here when I opened this one. I didn't even notice the circle. Was the eye? I think I was thinking that was maybe a flower or something. Clearly, I'm not that observant. I'm sorry. All right. Well, that is where we are going to leave off. I would love to know, do you have a pedicure horror story or a horror story of a hair trip? Let me know. Let me know if I'm not the only one who braces for horrors when we do stuff like that. So that is going to be it for me today, guys. If you have not, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, hearting, farting, doing all the things. And I will see you again very, very soon. Big awkward hugs. Bye, guys. Dr. Pepper time. Oof. Stretch it out. Okay, great. People are going to leave me alone. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Maybe. Probably not. That's okay. Oh, the burping and the throat clearing. Seriously, Duncan, why do you do this to me? Why do you curse me? Oh, I probably shouldn't be sitting on my foot because that's what makes the chair make farty noises. We don't want people to think that I'm farting. Do we? No, we don't. Oh, come to me, little canvas. You sparkly, sparkly, pretty little thing. Why did I bring tweezers? I don't know. Might need to stab somebody. Are we good? Are we as good as we're going to get? Potentially. Oh, look at that. We all know what needs to happen.